I'm curious what you guys think, boys. The feature of freeform was added into this game, and it changed Madden this year and probably forever, probably for the future of Maddens. And I'm very interested in what you guys' opinions are. I'm going to talk about mine, and I'm going to give points both supporting my opinion and going up against my opinion, all right? And first and foremost, I want to say I think this is the best addition that they've added gameplay-wise maybe since I've been playing Madden, since they added like custom audibles, and honestly, I think this is better than custom audibles, to be quite frank with you guys. The ability to, what I see with this, dude, what I really see with this, man, is the idea of how it can be scaled in the future to increase more skill gap, to be similar to like the 2K shot meter, where you're able to green bean throws and get them thrown on a rope, be able to avoid different fluke things if you green bean them, and where you will be punished if you super miss your the throwing meter, the throwing accuracy, right? No different than in 2K. You can take a midi, a wide open mid-range shot, which should be a dang near automatic, but if you super overthrow it or super overshoot it, you're gonna miss. And if you want to know my framework for how I run my offenses and defenses and how I've won pro Madden tournaments while becoming a top ranked player, join my website civil.gg. My guides will give you the tools you need to win more games of Madden, regardless if you're trying to become comp or if you're just trying to win more games online head to head. The link is in the description. You know, I think about it, I don't know if I'm totally against that for Madden. I would not mind there being some skill gap in that aspect of it. I don't know if it should be as much as it is in 2K, where there's, you know, green beating is really, really hard. But I think, you know, there's a place possibly for some skill gap in the timing of throws, and I think they're going to expand upon that in the upcoming, you know, either next year, the year after. What I hope is that it doesn't get exploited either for glitches or if button delay, lag, and stuff plays a huge factor in it. Obviously, if that does, I don't want that, but that's the first thing I see with it, man. The ability to really direct exactly where you want the ball being thrown has been a huge deal for me. Even when, you know, before we just had directional passing, right, where you just push the stick, you know, whatever, and you can still do that, obviously, and it works, and it always has worked. But my issue always was with and what I see with freeform, in my opinion, is that there was some visual stuff, like where it didn't give you the correct visual feedback to pass leading of how I guess I would have liked, and some pass leads weren't to my liking, and I didn't really get it because it felt like I pushed the controller where it should, or push the stick where it should go for it. And now you have that visual feedback on the screen for you, and you're able to adjust it on the fly as you're passing. I think it's really, really cool, man. I think it's been such a big change. It's been such a cool change. And they've honestly, I think they've executed it kind of as well as we can really expect out of EA, right? Like, all things told, like, most pros are using it. Most pros see it as an advantage. There was a little bit of shift during like the wild card tournament where people are starting to use classic, but a lot of those people went back to freeforming. Man, I'm a big fan of it, dude. Now, the things I don't like about it, the things I don't like about passing, and I think might be partly due to freeforming, is it seems like this year, and I can say for a fact this year, without a smidgen of a doubt, that there's way more balls going through men's hands. And that goes both for offense and defense. But specifically on offense, you're going to see the ball, like, you will throw the ball, and the ball will literally teleport through his hands on instant replay, and it'll just fall to the ground, like, through his hands. And it's like, oh, wow, that's really bad. And it gets bad on some pass leads of freeform too, where I can think of a few times where, think of like an out route, where you pass lead that bad boy up, and when he goes, let's say he's looking right here for the out route, right, looking to the right, when he goes back to catch it, like you pass lead him up, he goes like this, it just hits him in the shoulder. I think that stuff is terrible, and I'm not sure, it could be, you know, short memory. I'm not sure if we've seen other Maddens where that's been a huge deal. I don't know if we have. I really don't. I think freeform, we've kind of overlooked it. I think a lot of us are just kind of used to it now, almost. Maybe, I don't know. As being a change that I think pretty much everyone likes for the most part, or at least gets. I don't know if there's anybody who's like, man, I just don't get it. I get it, and I see the long-term scalability of it to possibly be able to add more skill gap. You know, they tried something 2 years ago or so. No. Madden 17 or 18, I think, with target passing. That was supposed to be like a similar-ish idea where you could have skill gap and, you know, more control over your passing, and it was terrible. No one used it. Like, literally, like, per every 10,000 Madden players, one person used it. Literally, it was such a dud. I think they did a great job. It gives you a lot of control, and there's a lot of times now where I'm playing the game where I feel genuinely rewarded for a really cool freeform. If you guys watch my gameplays on this channel, you guys see that. There's a lot of time like, holy, like that was a fucking laser, and it's because there's skill gap in the freeform. There's a throw I'm able to make now, which is like it's a high ball, touch pass, freeform, back shoulder. And it's really good against like press streaks, or like if a streak gets pressed. It's a super cool ball. I do have U-trips a lot, or I used to rather, and not a lot of people can make that throw. Like especially back then, a lot of people could not make that throw, and I would play other people trying to make the throw, and they could not make that throw. It ran a huge risk of being picked off. You can even see it even with like different pass leads of like, you know, I think of like streaks where people pass lead it and they're able to catch it in stride. There's going to become a bigger and bigger skill gap as this year goes on. Next year, I believe, in being able to do that and catch it and throw it in stride. Now, there's an argument to be made of should that be skill gap? And, you know, man, for a game that is so reliant on knowledge being the skill gap, I am so fine with them adding in more stick skill because you can get consistent with it for the most part. Like, you can. I'm so fine with them adding in more stick skill, however that be. I'm a huge advocate for users. I'm a huge advocate for user gap shooting. I'm a huge advocate for actual run stick, open field run stick. I'm a huge advocate for that stuff. I don't like the knowledge gap being a huge skill gap in Madden. I've never been a fan of that. It's just a preference of mine. I don't think that's necessarily how it should be, how skill gap should be determined in Madden, but it is right now. And I think freeform is a way to move a little away from that, to level the playing field even. To level the playing field, where in prior years, you'd see some comp guys who really don't play the game that much. They don't run great offenses, great defenses, but dang, do they have great defensive users. Man, they don't make great adjustments on defense, but dang, do they have a great user, great stick skill with their user, baiting different routes and knowing when to peel off, having good instincts. And you don't really see that anymore this year, and I really hope they go back to that. But I do feel like there's coming a time where even in some games right now, right, but especially next year, year after, if they continue to build upon it, where we'll see, man, like, this guy can just fit balls into his receiver's hands that other men just can't fit, right? He's able, like, you can make throws that other people can't make. I remember Madden 20, I used a pass lead ability that nobody else used, but it's because I'd gotten really good at that ability when a lot of people said it was bad, and it allowed me to make a lot of throws that other people couldn't throw, and it was like, oh, like, this is skill gap. Like, this is something that a lot of people can't do, and now I've actually mastered this, and it's giving me an actual advantage. And I think the same thing can be said for freeform once it gets. I think right now, honestly, I really do. You can see, especially against like a KO meta, right? A lot of these throws, the difference between a KO activated and not is that pass lead on it. And I think freeform helps with that, where if you're good at freeform, you can pass lead that just a hair out, and then you're able to use or click on. So now we're adding two different stick skill things, and now you're getting away from the KO when the average Joe would get that knocked out by a KO. I don't agree with KOs at all, by the way, but using that as kind of an example for my pro freeform propaganda. We'll see though, right? We'll see how EA expands upon freeforming. I hope they expand upon it. I don't think they should go crazy with it. But I do see, like, literally, you could see right now, you can green bean throws, and you can get bad accuracy on throws too, just from your freeforms. And I imagine right now, this year, it really doesn't do much, like, at all. And it's almost impossible to green bean your throws. But I do think they're going to expand upon it. I really do. And I hope they do. I really hope they do. So that's my thoughts on it. Let me know in the comment section below if you guys like it, don't like it, or if you're neutral about it. All right?